Hey guys, welcome to today's lesson. Today's lesson is actually 4.3. It's the second lesson in Unit 3 that we're talking about, and we're going to learn how to multiply a decimal times a decimal. But before we get to that, we need to review Lesson 4.1, which was taking a decimal times a whole number. So, with that, we're going to try this example, which is 14.306 times 12. The first thing that we need to remember when multiplying a decimal times a whole number is that for the time being we get to forget about that decimal. Forget all about it, pretend they're two different whole numbers, and multiply them just like you would if they were whole numbers. So we're going to go ahead and take 2 times 6 when we do that. 2 times 6 is equal to 12, so we put our 2 down and we carry our 1. 2 times 0 is 0 plus 1. 1. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. And 2 times 1 is 2. Now, we're going to be done with that x, or that 2. We're going to cross it out. We're going to move on and take 1 times everything in the top row. But before we do that, we got to get our 0 in. So 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 4 is 4, and 1 times 1 is 1. Now we got to go ahead and add those up. When we add them up, we get a 2, 7, 6, 8 plus 3 is 11, so I put the 1 down and carry the other 1. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 4 is 7, and then a 1. So I have 1, 7, 1, 6, 7, 2. Now remember, the next step when we multiplied a decimal times a whole number was just to count the number of place values there were to the right of the decimal in our problem. Well, here we have 3, 0, and a 6, so I have 1, 2, 3 numbers to the right of my decimal. That means I need to have 1, 2, 3 numbers to the right of my decimal in my answer. So my answer is 171.672. Or in other words, 171 and 672 thousandths. All right, let's move on. When we multiply decimals, so notice now we're taking a decimal times a decimal. Our first step is still the same. We want to multiply them like they're whole numbers. I'm going to take 3.25 times 1.6, and I'm going to multiply it like it's 325 times 16. So now when I do that, we got a 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 3 is 15. Carry the 1. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 1 is 19. 1 times, well, I'm done with that. Let me get my 0 in. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. And when we do that, I have got 0 plus 0 is 0. 5 plus 5 is 10. Carry the 1. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 2 is 12. Carry the 1, and I get 5,200. Now what I want to do is, before we counted the number of place values to the right of the decimal point, but we only had one decimal we were dealing with. Here, we still do it even though we have two decimals. We still want to count how many total numbers there are to the right of the decimal points in my problem. So here I have 1, 2, and down here I have a third one. So I have a total of 1, 2, 3 numbers to the right of my decimal place. So my answer, just like before, has to have 3 numbers to the right of my decimal point here. So it doesn't matter if you have a whole number or 2 decimals in there. You're counting the total number of place values to the right of your decimal point in the entire problem, and that's what needs to be in the answer as well. So we had 3 numbers to the right of our decimal on the problem. We have 3 numbers to the right of our decimal in our answer. So let's keep going. Now, I don't know about you guys, but my daughter and my son are big into electronics, and they asked for a new iPod for Christmas. And so I was at Moorhead Target the other day shopping, and I noticed that a 32 gigabyte iPod Touch, the newer one, is $299.99. Now, we have to figure in sales tax. And in Minnesota, in Moorhead anyways, the sales tax is 6.875%. Well, I know we haven't talked about percents yet, so I'm going to help you with this part. But we figure this out by multiplying the decimal of the percent times the cost. So we've got to change this to a decimal, and what we end up doing is moving it 2 places to the left. So I'm going to take it and go 1, 2 places, so it becomes 0.0685. Wow, that's a long decimal. But that's how they figure it out. That's how the cash registers are going to figure it out. So in order to find out how much the tax is going to be on this iPod Touch, I need to multiply the price. So I'm going to take $299.99 and I'm going to multiply it times 0.06875. Wow, this is going to be a lot of multiplying here, but we can do it. So I'm going to pretend that this is $29,999, and I'm going to pretend that this is $6,875. So forget about the decimal points for now. 5 times 9 is 45. 5 times 9 is 45, plus 4 is 49. So I carry the 4. 5 times 9 is 45, plus 4 is 49 again. And again, I have 45 plus 4 is 49. And 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14. So I have 14. I'm done with that. Now I move on to the 7. 7 times 9 is 63. I forgot to add my 0 here. 7 times 9 is 63, plus 6 is 69. And again, 7 times 9 plus 6 is going to be 69. And 7 times 9 plus 6 is going to be 69. And now 7 times 2 is 14, plus 6 is 20. So I'm done with the 7. I got to move over again. I'm going to put 2 zeros down here this time because I've moved in 2 places. And just to clean things up here, I'm going to erase these top numbers up here so it doesn't get too messy. All right, so now I'm moving on to 8. 8 times 9 is 72. I'm going to put my 2 down, my 7 up here. 8 times 9 is 72, plus 7 is 9. Again, sorry, 89. Sorry, 72 plus 7 is 79, so I've got a 7 here. I got a little carried away. 8 times 9 is 72, plus 7 is 79 again. Add my 7 up here. 8 times 9, 72, plus 7 is 79. And another 7 here. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 7 gives me 23. Now, I'm done with that. I got 1 left to go, so I'm going to put my 3 zeros down here. Try and keep it as neat as possible. It's getting a little messy over here. 6 times 9 is 54. So I'm going to put my 4 down here and my 5 up here. 6 times 9 is 54, plus 5 is 59. So I'm going to put my 9 down here and my 5 up here. 6 times 9 is 54, plus 5 is 59. I'm going to do it again. 6 times 9 is 54, plus 5 is 59. And last but not least, 6 times 2 is 12, plus 5 gives me 17. Now I can add this big old mess up. I've got 5 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0, so I've got a 5. 9 plus 3 is 12. My 2 down, carry my 1. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 9 is 19, plus 2 more is 21. So I'm going to put my 1 down here, my 2 up here. So 2 plus 9 is 11, plus 9 is 20, plus 9 is 29, plus 4 is 33. So I'm going to put my 3 down. So now I've got a 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 9 is 16, plus 9 is 25, plus 9 is 34. Oh, we're almost done. 3 plus 1 is 4, plus 9 is 13, plus 9 is 22. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 3 is 7, plus 9 is 16. 1 plus 2 plus 7 is 10. Woo! We finally made it. 2, 0, 6, 2, 4, 3, 1, 2, 5. So now I need to go back up. How many decimal points do I have up here? I've got 2 of them. I'm going to change my color here so we can see them. I've got 1, 2, and then down here, here's my decimal point here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow, I have 7 total decimal places to the right of my decimal point. So I need to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's where my decimal point is going to go, between the 0 and the 6. So we know our dollar system only goes to the hundredths place, so we would round it to there, which means we're going to have $20.62 in tax that we would need to add to the cost. So $299.99 plus $20.62 is going to be $320.61 when I add those together. That's how much it's going to cost you to walk out of Target with a brand new iPod Touch. So let's keep going. That was a long one. Oof, Dafita. We're going to try this one. I know that many of you like your music, and so you might be looking at these new Beats by Dr. Dre. And they're kind of spendy. Again, $199.99 at Best Buy in Fargo. And in Fargo, our sales tax is 7%. So remember, we've got to move this 2 decimal places. And when we do that, we get 0.07. This one's a little bit easier to do because we can drop these zeros, remember, at the end of a decimal. So we're going to take 199.99 times 0.07, and we're going to find out how much the tax is going to be on this. So I want you to figure this one out on your own. So pause it and go ahead and do it, and then come back and check your answer. All right, we take 7 times 9 and we get 63. 7 times 9 and we get 63, plus 6 is 69. Again, 69. Again, 69. And now 7 times 1 is 7, plus 6 is 13. Now we don't need to take 0 times anything because it just equals 0. So what we need to do now is to count up our decimal points. We have 2 to the right of our decimal point there, 2 to the right of our decimal point there. So our decimal point needs to be 4 decimals in. And so we've got 1399.93. Well, if we round up to here, this 9 is going to push us over the edge, so it's going to be $14 tax on a set of Beats. So if you want to walk out of Best Buy with a new pair of Beats by Dr. Dre, just these little solo ones, you're going to have to make sure that you have $213.99. Good job. Now I want you to go ahead and try these ones on your own. These ones we made a little bit easier to do, but we'll check these answers tomorrow. Remember, you want to multiply like they're whole numbers. At the end, count up the total number of places to the right of the decimal point in all of the numbers in your problem, and make sure your answer has that amount of numbers to the right of your decimal point. Have a great night.